Hi there guys, I hope you are all having a good day. Now, Anthony Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn has claimed that neither governing body are willing to budge on the mandatory situation. Now, the IBF and WBO have respectively both called their mandatories, Kubrat Pulev for the IBF and Oleksandr Usyk for the WBO. Now, they have both given timeframes in which they want their mandatories to be dealt with, and both of them kind of collide, so something is going to have to give. So Eddie Hearn has been working hard to try and find a resolution, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be possible. Anthony Joshua might have to vacate a belt, and it could quite likely be the IBF belt. Now, obviously, some people think that he will fight Kubrat Pulev next, because that is the quote-unquote easier fight. Plus, the IBF haven't given as much time as the WBO for their mandatory to be dealt with, so it seemed like it was going to be IBF first. But if Anthony Joshua has a choice, he has explained he wants to go for the hardest fight possible, meaning that would be Oleksandr Usyk. So, if that fight is going to happen, Anthony Joshua will be having to vacate the IBF belt. Now, should the IBF belt become vacant, then the fight will be between Kubrat Pulev and Adam Kownacki for the vacant IBF world title. And if the WBO were to be vacated, then that fight would be between Oleksandr Usyk and Joseph Parker for the vacant WBO title. So, whichever way it happens, I think Joshua is going to have to vacate a title, which he didn't want to do because it's hard to keep them titles together and get those unification fights, because Anthony Joshua wants to become undisputed. He wants to fight either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder next year to gain that status. Now, if he has to vacate a belt, then that will make things a lot harder because he will have to go and unify again with the then champion, whether that would be Joseph Parker or Oleksandr Usyk or Kubrat Pulev or Adam Kownacki. Either one of those he would have to go and unify against before he could even fight for undisputed. Now, obviously, the fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, whoever has the WBC belt by then, I'm guessing it's going to be Tyson Fury. So whoever has that belt then, I mean, that fight really does need to be for undisputed, although we would like to see it anyway, but it just would be great if that fight happened for undisputed. And if this happens, if one title has to be vacated by Anthony Joshua, then that thwarts the opportunity of Anthony Joshua becoming undisputed in that fight, because I think Anthony Joshua will go for that fight, whether he has all of the belts or not. He just wants the career-defining fights. He even said the belts don't mean all that much to him. Take them away, he wants to fight these big fights anyway. If Deontay Wilder wasn't champion, he would still want to fight him. Same with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury doesn't currently hold a heavyweight world title. He has that lineal status, but Anthony Joshua still wants to fight him, even though he does not have a physical title, because he wants those big fights. So it doesn't matter if they have a world title, he just wants to fight them. And it doesn't matter whether it is for undisputed, he still wants to fight them anyway. But it is looking increasingly likely that it won't be, because if one of these titles has to be vacated, then there will be another guy that Anthony Joshua has to unify against. And we don't know what platform they could be on as well. Obviously, Adam Kownacki is with PBC, Kubrat Pulev is with Top Rank, and Oleksandr Usyk and Joseph Parker are with Matchroom. So, if the belts start getting fragmented and start going over to other broadcasters, then that creates problems with the politics of the sport. Obviously, if it is the WBO belt that Anthony Joshua has to vacate, then the belt will still be on Matchroom Boxing, because Joseph Parker and Oleksandr Usyk are both under the Matchroom banner. So that fight would be easier to be made because they are both on the same platform. So that fight won't be that hard to make. It's the IBF that could be the problem. Kubrat Pulev versus Adam Kownacki. Top Rank and PBC fighters going at it. It means the belt will definitely be on a different platform, meaning it will make it a lot harder to make those fights. If the belt were to go to Kubrat Pulev, I don't think the fight would be that hard to make, to be honest, with Top Rank, because Eddie Hearn will always work with Bob Arum, but I don't think that Al Heyman would work with Eddie Hearn, not very quickly anyway. Because just look at the Deontay Wilder situation, how long they have put off that undisputed fight. Undisputed could have happened already. It is PBC, Deontay Wilder, Al Heyman that have not wanted that fight, so they have stopped that. So if Adam Kownacki were to win the IBF title, then that would be another heavyweight world title on that platform. So in my opinion, I believe that Anthony Joshua, if he were to vacate a belt, should vacate the WBO, just because of that, because the belt would still be on Matchroom Boxing and make it easier for him to go and unify against the winner of Joseph Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk. Whereas if the IBF belt gets taken away and goes to Kubrat Pulev or Adam Kownacki, then that belt will be lost to PBC. And the only fight they would be interested in making is Adam Kownacki versus Deontay Wilder, meaning there would be 2 belts on PBC, and then they would shut Anthony Joshua out completely because they would think, we have 2 belts, we have the WBC and the IBF, we don't need to go for undisputed because we have already unified. They're looking for reasons to get out of that undisputed fight. They don't want it, they never have, because as I said, if they did want it, they would have done it by now. So there we have it, guys. It looks like there is going to be 1 belt that has to be vacated by Anthony Joshua. And as I said, I would rather it be the WBO, because then at least 2 Matchroom fighters will fight for the vacant title, meaning the belt will still be on Matchroom and Anthony Joshua can make that fight and unify again. Whereas if the IBF does get vacated, it looks like it will go over to a different platform, and then it will be increasingly difficult to make another unification fight to get that belt back. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.